Welcome back, everybody. We left off on episode 2 talking about how anxiety and fear are best friends. We're picking up going into identifying and exposing anxiety for what it is. If you ever start to feel or experience any sort of extreme fear to the point where it affects you mentally in a negative way, it's now time to call it out for what it is. You can now identify it as anxiety. You can now identify it as fear. We also want to remember that all fear is not a form of anxiety. There is a such thing as good fear. I remember when I was driving back to college from Detroit and I was down a dark road and I was driving to the point where I literally could not see what was in front of me. And I came to a point in the road where I stopped because I couldn't see no more of the road. And I think that if I would have kept going, I would have drove into a ditch. That was a good fear that helped save my life rather than anxiety and not want to drive in the dark at all. You want to remember that whenever extreme fear is around, that anxiety is around. Extreme fear, the point where it's starting to cause you to come out of yourself, is now leading you to anxiety, which means there's a shifting of your mood, your thinking, and your behavior. Whenever anxiety is around, panic is around, which means now extreme and excitement, dreadful excitement is around the corner. Whenever panic is around, you want to know that the attack is around, and the attack is to take down the vessel. Now, we're going to get you to the point where you can get to anxiety before it even gets to attack. We're going to get to it right at extreme fear. We're not even going to let it attack us. I'm going to show you how. We're going to practice something that may be a little bit uncomfortable if you're not used to being verbal. Yes, I said it. Verbal. Through my journey in life, I've discovered how powerful our words are, how powerful the instrument of sound and speaking is. We're going to nip anxiety in the bud by talking to it. Yes, I said it. Talking to it. Now that we identified anxiety and associated with extreme fear, we are now able to verbally call it out. Whenever you are suffering through any form of anxiety, it's going to bring a sort of behavior out of you. So you take this moment of calling out anxiety by describing what it is trying to do. For example, anxiety can cause the heart rate to increase, the brain to scramble, the mouth to maybe go dry. So if you're in a situation and you're starting to experience that, you then say, extreme fear, I feel you. Anxiety, I feel you. You are trying to increase my heart rate. You want me to breathe heavy. You want me to get dreadfully excited so that I can make a mistake. But guess what, anxiety? Guess what, fear? I disagree with you. Once you put out that you disagree with anxiety and fear, you have now taken your power back. You have now stood your ground and say, hey, you're not going to have your way in me. And yes, you can do it. You can talk to anxiety. You can talk to your fear just like it's a person. For example, I'm talking to this camera just like it's a person. You hear me, don't you? Yep. The importance of exposing anxiety for what it is so that you can get a clear understanding of each and every detail for what it wants to do to you and why it's not good to have in your life. Anxiety comes to confuse your mind. It's a confuser. It comes to destroy your path. It's a destroyer. It comes to steal your destiny. It's a thief. So, you want to continue to practice this step. I like to personally shine light in dark areas. I do this by verbally calling out whatever it is I may feel or may think that can be the opposite of what's good for me. So if I'm feeling any sort of anxiety that's trying to come up on me, I'm going to call it out quickly. I'm not going to give it time to sit and rest and to possess me in any kind of way. I'm not going to say, oh, let me fill it out. Let me see if this really what I'm going through. No, the ounce, the second, the millisecond that I feel it, that I think it, I'm calling it out right then and there. Heavy breathing, I call you out. I disagree with you. Nervousness, I disagree with you. Anything that comes to distort your mind, anything that comes to shift your mood or your behavior so that you won't be successful, you must call it out. Check this out. If we believe in doing affirmations, speaking good things into ourselves, you get a lot of people that talks about putting good things out into the atmosphere because it's going to come back to you. Then why not be able to speak to some things that are trying to attack you? Check this out though. After you speak to anxiety and fear, it's important that you believe that your words have been heard. It's important to know that once I've spoken, I put my words on assignment, and I believe that my words are going to work for me and do what I employed them to do. After you feel what you feel, think what you think, you have now identified anxiety and fear. You have now exposed it. You have now spoke to it. The next thing I need you to do is believe. I need for you to believe that your words are prosperous, that it's successful, and that you have won this battle. And I need you to straighten yourself up, continue to go on along your day like nothing ever happened. Don't even allow your mind or your heart to dwell upon this. Just keep pressing forward. All right, everybody, it was your girl, LaKesha Victory, and I just really enjoyed this episode of how to get through by identifying and exposing anxiety for what it is. Please make sure that you practice this and share this tool. It's very instrumental. It helped me in the past and it still helps me today on getting through with anxiety or any form of negative thinking or feeling. Remember, call it out. Be able to identify it, expose it, and speak to it. This is a very powerful tool. If you need to rewatch the video, study it, share it, do whatever you like, do whatever you need. But make sure you comment, like below, and share with your families and friends. Let's get it.